You may have seen my speech at the Hearts of Oak press conference recently in London. We said that we're going to look at the indoctrination and the targeting of primary school children with the LGBT movement. This is a reach out to ask people to contact us. If you're aware of this abuse happening in your school, if you're aware of drag queens going to be reading nursery rhymes to children in your school, if you're aware of any of these issues that we've highlighted, we'd ask that you contact us. We're researching now and looking in. We've already found plenty of schools, but we want to target those schools. We're going to be outside those schools. We're going to be protesting those schools. We're going to bring what's being taught in certain schools to the whole country's attention. If you can contact us with any information you have about schools in your area, please do at heartsofoakprimaryschools@gmail.com. Contact us, let us know what's happening in your school, in your children's school. Let us know and we'll be sure to shine a torch on it and probably see us protesting there soon. If you're aware of this abuse happening in your school, if you're aware of drag queens going to be reading nursery rhymes to children in your school, if you're aware
that video that I showed at the beginning there is of Tommy Robinson actually threatening to picket schools with his supporters, and they can be really intimidating, as you've seen from some of the photographs. And he's actually threatening to picket any schools who are hosting an organisation called Equaliteach. Now, this organisation goes into schools, and it goes into primary schools as well, and it teaches children about the importance of respecting each other, and respecting difference and not bullying children if they're different. Or it actually it doesn't mention anything sexual. It's just saying that if you have, if you have like classmates who are who are maybe sort of a little bit, like if you have a boy who's feminine or a girl who's quite so like a tomboy or quite masculine, then it's saying respect them. It's saying if you have a child who's trans in school, don't bully them, because it's nothing to be afraid of. Being trans is, we're just ordinary people, and it's all right to be trans, and it's all right. It's all right to be trans at the age of 5 or 6, as it is to be trans at the age of 20 or 30 or 50, 60, 80, whatever, you know. But unfortunately, Tommy Robinson and his supporters have kind of pounced onto this the transphobic bandwagon as a way of trying to make themselves popular, because with the mainstream, because we see in mainstream newspapers an attack on transgender people and constant demonization, and now the far right have seen a way to actually, they're thinking, well, that's a good idea, you know, that's one way that we could make ourselves popular with society, you know, with mainstream society, is to start picking on trans people, because they know if they pick on, if they're racist, or if they pick on, you know, if they're anti-Semitic, you know, even, you know, if they're anti-communist these days, I mean, most people won't stand for that, because they will see it, you know, people believe that everyone should have, you know, if somebody's left-wing, they should have a right to voice their opinions, and that people believe that, you know, if somebody's a different color, or they're Jewish, or they're Muslim, then they should, you know, they're just ordinary people, and like anyone else, and but it's become really easy now. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't a lot of racism and anti-Semitism still around, but it's far easier for somebody like Tommy Robinson to jump on the bandwagon of hating trans people, because so many lies have been told about us in the press. And unfortunately, we have a government that has actually come to power on the back of the far right. They actually, they owe their power to being able to capture the Brexit vote, and you know, and the UKIP vote. So the Tories are kind of like hyper right wing now. I think somebody called it Thatcherism on steroids, and it seems like Liz Truss, who is the who's been appointed as Women and Equalities Minister, is she's a TERF sympathiser, and she's actually sort of attacked this organisation as well in recent days, Equaliteach, and it looks like she's going to try and get people who go into primary schools, she's trying to get them kicked out of sort of like LGBT groups, kicked out of going into schools and teaching children about LGBT issues, and you know, not attacking trans people. And it's kind of, you know, it's really depressing. And this video that Tommy Robinson has posted, where he appeals for people to submit information to him about schools who are going to be hosting Equaliteach, because this is a scheme which is due to happen from this September onwards. So he said that they've already identified some schools who are letting in, you know, who are inviting Equaliteach in to, you know, give lessons and things, and he's saying that he'll be there with his supporters. And I mean, as we've seen from the pictures, his, you know, just that I put onto this video, a lot of his supporters are quite violent types, and that's going to be really frightening for school children, particularly transgender school children, and you know, children who are maybe kind of know that they're LGBT. Because believe me, when I was at primary school, I was bullied, and I knew I was trans at the age of 3. But I was bullied with homophobic slurs, misogynistic slurs right from the start, because they didn't sort of, it wasn't until I got later into the later years of, you know, as I got older into the secondary school, that people, you know, children had heard of transgender people. So I was literally, but I was always being picked on, and I was always kind of like isolated, and it knocked my self-confidence back a lot, and I haven't ever really been able to regain any self-confidence, and it's kind of too late for me now, I think. But that's why I feel it's so important for people who go into schools and they teach tolerance about, not just tolerance, but, acceptance, that children accepting each other, and kind of they teach children, not to bully somebody if they're trans or gay, but obviously Tommy Robinson and his supporters hang around outside of school. That's going to be really frightening. I mean, if I was a young kid and I knew that there would be fascists outside my school, and bearing in mind I'm also Jewish, I would be terrified. I would be absolutely terrified. And so yeah, I mean, as you can see, Tommy Robinson declaring war on drag queens, I mean, is absolutely ridiculous. And I really think that he would lose that fight, definitely, because there are some really fierce drag queens out there. But this is just kind of one manifestation of kind of their homophobia and transphobia, although it's not attacking trans people or gay people per se, it's attacking drag queens, and kind of, in a lot of these people's minds, by association, they will associate trans people and gay people with drag queens, and so they know very well it makes it much easier then to start on trans community and the gay community. I mean, a lot of people who support Tommy Robinson, as you've seen in the comments of past videos I've done about him and his transphobic activities, they are not very nice people. I had rape threats, I had death threats, I had threats of violence, I had no end of transphobic abuse, I had all kinds of stuff, stuff about my looks, and I mean, unfortunately, these are the parents and grandparents of children, and, you can only hope that organisations like Equaliteach and diversity role models who kind of present positive images of LGBT people, and they're telling children that it's okay to be gay, it's okay to be trans, and you can have friends who are gay and trans, you can be a effeminate male, you can be an effeminate female, it's okay, and you can just be yourself, you can be anything you want to be, as long as you're not harming anyone else. And yeah, so I just hope that that generation grows up more tolerant than a lot of the people who were Tommy Robinson supporters who have been trolling my YouTube channel. I mean, I could go on about the amount of abuse that I've got, I mean, I have had a few visitors coming on to my channel and say, this is terrible, this is crazy. There's literally, but it doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, the rape and the death threats frighten me a little bit, but I know that these people are cowards and they would never dare carry out the threats. I mean, one particular person said they knew who I was, and but next time they saw me, they would stick it in me, which, I mean, is kind of like I took to be either stab me or stick their penis in me, and I just think it's, it just shows what sort of people they are. They say they're not Nazis and fascists, but they are, and I mean, Tommy Robinson is kind of shamelessly scapegoating the trans community, and yeah, so that's all I wanted to say, really. And Tommy Robinson versus drag queens. Tommy, you're going to lose. You're going to lose hands down, and you know it. And I would just step away right now. Stop hanging outside school gates, because that's creepy as goodness knows what, I mean, stop doing that, and back off, leave our kids alone. And Liz Truss, you can do the same. You leave our transgender kids alone. Just stop appeasing and trying to ingratiate yourself to fascists and far-right people, because that is just terrible. That just makes you ultimately a Nazi collaborator. So, I'm saying that's all I got to say, really. It does. I find the mainstreaming of the far right very, very disturbing, and just seeing it a lot, particularly on YouTube. I mean, organisations like channels like Talk Radio, even like Sky News Australia, is it? They may not seem that they're far right, but they are, and they always have a lot of subscribers and a lot of viewers and a lot of likes, and it is quite frightening to see that. But the majority of people aren't fascists. The majority of people aren't transphobic or homophobic or racist or Islamophobic or anti-Semitic. They're just, majority of people just take other people as they are. They take each person as an individual. So the minority of political extremists, and I include TERFs in that, who are going around and, with the help of those who are in the establishment to sort of like peddle this hate, are not reflective of the, not representative of the majority of people in the UK who, don't like that kind of stuff. I mean, literally within living memory, Britain fought a war against fascists and Nazis, and many British people lost their lives, fighting Hitler, and even like a few British people were murdered in concentration camps. And I mean, it's like, they're back again. The Nazis never really went away, and it's really shocking. And I think that the least I can do is speak out against it. And so, yeah. So, thank you very much for watching this video, and please, if you've got any views on this, please leave feedback below. I mean, if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, please do leave feedback below. And I don't moderate comments on this channel, and so if you've got something to say, just say it, because you don't, if you're going to say something negative or nasty towards me, you don't frighten me. I can tell you, you really don't frighten me. So yeah, anyway, love to all my subscribers, love to all the people who watch this video, and who aren't trolls, and just love to you all, and stay safe, everyone. Bye.